Hello wolves, we are so close to season 2 and I cannot contain my excitement. Today's recap is on number 3, aka The Rumour, aka Allison Hargreeves. So every day leading up to the new season of Umbrella Academy, I've been doing recaps on each member of the Academy. So today's is Allison's, yesterday was Diego's, the day before that was Lufa's, and so on and so on. So if you have any particular character you want to watch, their links will be in the description by the time I've finished all these videos. So this is just a refresher on Allison. So it's basically what she goes through during season 1 to kind of get you caught up and ready for season 2. Allison, along with 42 other babies, were born on the 1st of October 1989. Nothing weird about that. Except these 43 babies were born to mothers that had not started the day pregnant. Allison's birth mother gave her to Reginald Hargreeves for a substantial amount of money. Reginald adopted 7 of these children for his vigilante group, the Umbrella Academy. Like her siblings, Allison has a gift. Allison can influence people to do what she asks. All she needs to do is start her sentence with, "I heard a rumour." Thanks to her power, as a child, Allison was able to get whatever she wanted. Out of her siblings or out of her father. Out of all her siblings, Allison is closest to Lufa, the two sharing a close bond, teetering on a childhood sweetheart situation. As an adult, Allison used her powers to influence her career as an actress and in her personal relationships. We first meet adult Allison strutting down the red carpet for what I'm sure is a premiere. While there, she finds out about her father's death in the worst way possible, by very persistent paparazzi. She goes back to the academy for her father's memorial, where she's reunited with her sister Vanya and brothers who she hadn't seen in 13 years. Approaching Reginald's office, we're shown a flashback of the kids trying to get some attention from Reginald, which they don't get, and it seems to be a regular occurrence. While looking around the office, she notices Klaus rummaging around. Allison notes the band on Klaus's wrist from rehab and is worried about her brother, who reassures her that he is fine. Lufa joins him in the office, and after Klaus leaves, the two are alone to reunite. Allison reveals that her marriage to Patrick is over with. Her husband filed for divorce over 8 months ago and got custody of their daughter Claire. Lufa asks why, and Allison lets us know that she hasn't used her powers for a while, because she used them on her child, starting off with little things but eventually progressing into bigger things, taking Claire's free will. Later on in the episode, Lufa calls a family meeting, where their father's death is discussed. Lufa believes that the father's death wasn't as natural as it seems and that someone caused it. He of course means his family, which turns his siblings, Allison included, against him. Each of them disgusted he would even think one of them could be capable of that. Leaving the room, Allison goes down to her childhood bedroom where she hears music echoing throughout the house. Getting carried away with the music, she starts to dance. A bright light and loud noise interrupts her party. She joins the others and finds her long-lost brother 5 appearing out of nowhere. Allison stands somber at her adoptive father's memorial. Not because she's sad that her adoptive father's dead, but because she's back in that house that held so many memories. She seems used to it when Diego and Lufa starts to fight, almost like it was a common occurrence when they were younger. Another flashback shows us the Umbrella Academy's first mission, Allison using her powers to manipulate an armed robber into shooting his friend in the foot. We also see the Academy getting tattoos of the umbrella symbol on their wrists. Desperate to get back to her daughter Claire, Allison starts to pack her things away, but is interrupted by Lufa. She reminisces about the stories she would tell Claire all about Uncle Lufa on the moon, who was Claire's personal hero, and can't wait to introduce them. On the phone to her soon-to-be ex-husband, Allison pleads with him to let Claire on the phone just for a few minutes, just to talk. But Patrick doesn't. Seeing how upset her sister is, Vanya attempts to cheer her up, with a less than stellar response from Allison. Fed up with the day, Allison heads to a place she used to go when she was younger and upset. Pogo finds his young charge trying to relax after the high-stress day. Wanting to cheer her up, Pogo leads her down to a surveillance room, where Reginald used to monitor the children throughout the day. The plan worked. Allison has been cheered up. She can watch tapes of her playing with Ben, or her and Lufa hanging out, just nice memories of her childhood. Pogo leaves her to it. Allison watches the tapes, feeling nostalgic for her younger days. She puts another tape on, expecting more childish antics, but instead finds a surveillance tape from the night of Reginald's death. What she sees shocks her. Allison runs and finds Lufa to share her discovery. The tape she found shows Reginald having his heart attack, but Grace, their robotic mum, was doing nothing to help him. In fact, she just watches. Grace gives Reginald some tea, so Mr. Sherlock Holmes, Lufa, deduces that maybe she poisoned him. They go to talk to Grace, who gives them nothing. She doesn't seem to remember anything unusual about that day or night. We learn that Allison has to attend mandatory therapy sessions before she's allowed to visit Claire. The breakup with Patrick was because Allison used her powers to control Claire. Both Allison and Luther believe that Grace could be dangerous and should be turned off for the safety of the academy. The rest of the family are let in on their discovery, and they have a vote to turn off or keep Grace on. Luther and Allison vote to turn her off, while Diego, Klaus and Vanya vote to keep her on. Mainly because they lost a vote, it's decided that they should wait for 5 to make it fair. Allison and Luther are gazing at Luther's old home. When gunfire erupts through the academy, the pair jumps up to act. Hazel and Cha-Cha descend on the academy, causing chaos. The siblings hold their own against the killers, climaxing in Cha-Cha shooting the chandelier. Before it could crash into Allison, Luther pushes her out of the way, taking the hit for her, in doing so revealing his true nature. Concerned about Luther, Allison wakes him up gently the next day. She asks what happened and Luther gives it to her straight. He was sent on a mission by Reginald, but it went south quickly. He was close to death, but thanks to Reginald he was saved. Reggie uses a serum containing what I guess is Pogo's blood. This serum mixed with Luther's blood created Luther 2.0. Allison heads to Vanya's apartment only to see it already open with no Vanya in sight. Inspecting the apartment, she finds Leonard Peabody, who she mistakes for an intruder, because breaking into someone's apartment just to drop off keys is creepy and something you definitely shouldn't be doing. She meets Vanya after Vanya's violin practice to inform her about Grace being deactivated. The sisters go for a drink, where they reminisce for better or for worse times. Allison lets Vanya aware of who she found in her apartment, but Vanya, who has been starved for affection for many years, seems fine about it, while Allison is freaked out, rightly so. Allison's freaked outside wins her internal debate. She researches Leonard Peabody at the local library. She doesn't find much dirt on him, but finds his address and promptly makes her way to Vanya's. Vanya, who is infatuated with Leonard, obviously doesn't believe her sister about Leonard being shady and asks her to leave. Determined to prove to Vanya that Leonard is strange, she breaks into his house, but didn't get much of a chance to snoop as Leonard comes home early, causing Allison to scarp her. Although if you're going to search a house, always check the attic first. Then this would have been a really short series. Luther calls another family meeting to tell the family about the fast approaching apocalypse and how they must stop it to save the world. Thanks to 5 dropping in and telling them who causes the apocalypse, Harold Jenkins, they now know who to stop. The group split up. Allison goes with Diego and 5 to the police station to find info on Harold Jenkins with his police file. Allison attempts to contact Vanya to apologise, but she doesn't pick up. Diego manages to grab the file, and with one glance at his picture, Allison knows who it is. He goes by Leonard Peabody and is Vanya's new boyfriend. The 3 head to Harold's address to search the house. They manage to find some creepy Umbrella Academy memorabilia and merch, with their eyes scratched out. Harold clearly hated them. Before they can explore the house some more, 5 collapses from blood loss, so they have to take him back to the academy to patch him up. Once 5 is left in Grace's care, Diego and Allison attempt to get to Vanya and Leonard, but are stopped by police looking for Diego. So many obstacles in their way. Diego sends Allison off to carry on a search for Harold and Vanya, and she starts her journey to save his sister. Allison drives through the night, rushing towards Harold's grandma's place. When she actually arrives, the cabin is deserted and she has no leads to Vanya. Back in the car, she gets stuck in a traffic jam, and Allison decides to investigate the cause of the jam. During her investigation, she spots a familiar scarf and knows that Vanya had been there. With some luck, one of the police officers is a big fan of Allison's movies, so when she asks to accompany him to the hospital to study for an up-and-coming role, he jumps at the chance. Her real reason for going with the officer is to see the survivor of the accident that Vanya was a part of. She needed answers. Allison questions the man, much to the police officer's surprise, and she managed to get something out of him. He reveals that him and his friends were hired by a man who wanted them to start a fight so he could look good in front of his girlfriend. With this new information on hand, Allison once again heads to Harold Jenkins' grandma's house. This time, Vanya was home. With all this new information, Allison shares it with her sister, hoping and expecting her to understand the situation and leave with her to safety. But Vanya, who is infatuated with Harold, can't or won't believe her. She can't see the truth. A desperate Allison watches her sister lose her cool. And with the revelation that it was due to Allison's powers that Vanya forgot just how special she was, the fight escalates. So much that Vanya's powers grow bigger, physically shaking the cabin. Seeing no other choice, Allison attempts to use her powers, for the first time in a very long time, but is abruptly stopped. Vanya, in a fit of rage, slashes Allison's throat with a little bit of power and her violin bow. A devastated Vanya is forcefully removed by Harold as Allison bleeds out on the cabin floor. Allison loses blood quickly when finally her brothers and Luther barge in on the upsetting scene. Carefully, the boys take her back to the academy, where Grace takes over to operate. Grace informs the boys that her vocal cords are damaged and that it's too early to tell if she can talk. Allison wakes up to Luther at her side, a side he has been at since she got there. Using a notepad, Allison shares what she learned about Vanya, and thanks to Pogo's confirmation, the family now know about Reginald's last secret. Now up and walking, Allison protests against Vanya being locked up, but Luther doesn't listen to her. He believes Vanya is dangerous, and Allison's cut throat is proof of that. In a childhood bedroom with Luther, they're shaken when they hear a loud crash. Vanya's escaped and she's bringing down the roof, and not in a fun way. Luther drags Allison through the falling building, pulling her out to safety. The family gather in the wreckage of their childhood home, the destruction caused by their very own sister. Five realises that the apocalypse is very much still on. Vanya's the cause, she's the reason the apocalypse happens. To the bowling alley they go, to plan their attack on Vanya. Well, Luther thinks it should be an attack, while everyone else, including Allison, hopes they can stop Vanya without anyone getting hurt. Allison looks embarrassed and hugely annoyed by Klaus's attempt at proving Ben's presence, and that annoyance turns to hurt when Klaus lets slip that Luther had popped his cherry with someone that's not her. Allison walks out, the whole day taking an emotional toll on her. Luther catches up to her, and to make it up to Allison, he does her a favour. He gives her his voice. Armed with a notebook, Allison knows every little thing she wants Claire to know, and she watches Luther relay it to her daughter. The conversation gets more emotional when she hears the double meanings to Luther's words. He loves her, he always has. Just gonna take this little brief time here to reinstate that they are not biologically related, so still weird. After expressing their feelings, the pair get their head back in the game. Luther decides that they need to head to the Icarus Theatre where Vanya is playing to try and put a stop to their sister. Before they can leave though, a hailstorm of bullets rain down on them, thanks to members of the commission. Thanks to Allison's quick thinking, they make their escape through the bowling lanes. Allison, still clinging to hope that his sister can be saved, wants to go in by herself. Maybe she can talk her down. Luther lets her go, but intends to use it as a distraction. She approaches Vanya as she performs for the mesmerised crowd. Allison looks proud of her sister, and Vanya looks pleased to see her. The distraction plan did not work. Vanya saw it from a mile away, and chaos ensues. Not only are they trapped by Vanya, but the commission agents arrive to cause even more havoc. Luckily for the family, Klaus and in extension Ghost Ben are on hand, and the agents were no more. Luther comes up with a new plan. Surround her is a great plan. Nothing could go wrong, right? Well, Vanya hoists her brothers up by her powers, draining the life force out of them. But where was Allison? Allison creeps up behind his sister and fires a gun right next to Vanya's ear, shocking her into dropping the boys and collapsing right into Allison's arms. They've done it. Saved Vanya and the world. But you didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? An offshoot of Vanya's powers went straight towards the moon, cracking it and chipping off moon rock, which starts raining down to Earth fast. Seeing they have a choice, Five offers a solution. Time travel. With nothing to lose, the entire family agree, reverting back to their younger selves before time travelling to a new time. So that is Allison's refresher for season 1. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Leave a comment down below what you think. This is my first time doing recaps, and I'm doing like a whole bunch of them at once, so I hope they turn out okay. I think okay is the standard I at least want them to be. Have you guys seen the new trailer? It looks batshit crazy and I'm super excited. Anyway, if you like this video, I do videos like this every single week, so please click that subscribe button if you want to subscribe. It is free and you might as well. And click that bell if you want to be notified when I upload. Like I said, there will be new videos for this recap thing for the Hargreeves, and the links to them will be in the description of each video. So make sure you go check that out. Stay tuned because number 4, Klaus's, will be coming out tomorrow. And I will see you next time. Bye little world.